Good evening, Superkickin with Stephen fans. Your favorite host right here for you, Stephen A. 1181, the Greg one over there. We are ready for Double or Nothing. It is going to be quite interesting, I think. We definitely got news about MJF to talk up. I am worn out as heck, but I'm here and I'm in color and in person. So, yeah, things are going fantastic. How in the world are you doing, Greg?
I just made it home half an hour ago to post up, get ready. So apparently not as crazy a day as you've had. I get even from here, it looks like you got a little tan action going on there. You must be wiped already.
Yes. Let's see. I was up at 6:30. We got in to the speedway about 8ish, and the race was over about 4ish. But you have to add in your walking, probably about a mile and a half each way. It was 80 something, maybe 80. A little breezy, like we were up high, so that helps. But then when you get down low and you're walking, I mean, you can just feel that heat. And like I said, 80s, but a crowd of 350, 300, packed in together. That heat just kind of sits off each other. So yeah, I think I did a pretty good job. I'm not burnt. That's always a good thing. I can't really tell. I mean, my face looks okay. So I am probably a ridiculously reapplier with the sunscreen, Greg. Somebody's like, "Oh, how many times have you reapplied?" I was like, "Oh, this is 4 or 5." So yeah, I don't want to burn because there's always little spots that you might like when you rub it. Your handprint might be there because you didn't rub it enough. But Marcus Erickson is your 106th winner, or the winner of the 106th running. Sorry, there's been multiple time winners before, so I have the second place driver. So yay! Nothing for that though, unfortunately, in the grand old scheme of things. But there was a wreck with about 5 laps to go, so they pulled out the red flag, which makes everybody go into the pits, and you cut your engines, and then you're in your position that happened before the red flag. So they could kind of, essentially it would have been over with the wreck at the end. They would have just had to do laps, and they always wanted to give us a finish. So Marcus Erickson was out in front, and he pulled off for the win. His first time winning. Elio did not get 5, so he's in his late 40s. So we'll see if he gets that 5th one. But that would be that right now he's tied with 4 other drivers or 3 other drivers at 4 all-time Indy 500 wins, Greg. So I don't know
Okay.
if they'll get the 5th win, but and I don't know if anybody will get 4. That's a pretty exclusive club. I mean, so anyways, that's my Indy 500 story. Plenty of people watching. If you're a fan of jorts and American flag wear, Greg, you would love the Indy 500.
I can imagine.
With it being on Memorial Day weekend, people love to throw out the American flag apparel and whatnot. So, but the actual 500 is represented, I think they said, by 14 different countries this year. So that's quite a bit of a flavor. I think a first time person from from Switzerland, maybe Denmark as well. I could be wrong, but obviously Brazilian, Colombian, a lot of South American, Central American flavor, North American flavor, but even some Eastern European this year, Western European. So yeah, it's a really good time. I mean, it's definitely an event, and that's the thing. There's a big snake pit they call it, which is a big EDM concert. I mean, you could feel the bass when you walk by it. You could hear the bass from any direction. They have flyovers. I mean, it's just a good old time. I don't know how it compares to Daytona 500, but I would assume it's about in that vein. Um, so, but like I said, some people see it one time and never come back, and then like me, I was trying to think this is my 10th time going to it. So my 10th
Nice.
race there since about 2010. So yeah, but double or nothing, Greg. We got to talk this up because there's a hell of a lot of matches. I don't want to waste the people's time. Let's just get right to it. The buy-in match. I think there's another one, but I can't remember. I know for sure we're getting Hook and Danhausen versus Tony Nese and Mark Sterling. Greg, what is your prediction and how are you feeling about Hook and Danhausen coming together? Hopefully this will be a little bit longer outing for Danhausen than the last match he had.
Yeah, I like it that it's starting off, the buy-in, people are really fired up for Hookhausen, as they call it. Um, I'm still in X-Files mode when it comes to Danhausen. I want to believe, I want to like this guy. I like the character, I like the weird voice and the gimmick, but he's got to show me something. So far, I just seen him get his face kicked off and do the curse. So one, I'd like to see the curse work on somebody. I don't think that's happened yet, and I want to actually see if he can actually wrestle, and I relate that back to when we saw Orange Cassidy first wrestle. He was just lounging around ringside, or they had all the slow jokes, the sloth style, and all that stuff, and we just kind of dismissed him at that until he actually had a match against Pac, and the match burned the house down. And we saw, oh wow, okay, Orange Cassidy can go. I'm looking for that with Danhausen, and for that reason, I haven't gone back and watched any of his old matches. I haven't done anything. I want to see everything for the first time, brand new. I know that everybody in the audience is probably all familiar with Danhausen's work and everything, but I want to see this brand new with brand new eyes, so I can give it a good once over. So, and the place went nuts when Hook shook his hand and a team was formed. So um, I think we're going to get a much better match. We're going to actually see Danhausen and what he can do. So super excited for that. I think we know what's going to happen as far as the outcome, but we'll get to see Mark Sterling get kicked around a little bit at the end, and the good guys go over. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's a good way to get people hyped, get people ready before the kickoff of the main card.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest point. Just kind of see how Hook and Danhausen work together. If they even work together, is it all Hook? Maybe Danhausen comes in for a hot tag, or I'm going to assume it's the opposite. Hook comes in for the hot tag, takes out Sterling. You kind of keep Tony Nese protected if you need to do that after the squash win over Danhausen. But like you, I'm interested to see what Danhausen brings in ring. I assume it's all going to be Hook and Danhausen. Um, maybe a 10-minute match, if that. I know it's the buy-in, but still, I don't anticipate a long, drawn-out tag team match. I think it's going to be short, sweet, and to the point. So um, we need to see some Danhausen interaction with Taz. I think that would be something to watch. So
Yeah, and they
uh,
do like they bring in Hook along slowly, and
yeah,
he's got the rocket ship as far as how over he is, but
yeah,
they're still treated with kid gloves, and this is really his first pay-per-view, but he's starting off on the undercard, on the buy-in, and bringing him along slowly because he is going to be money in the bank, pun intended, down the road, and but this is a way to ease him in and give us that slow burn up until he's a megastar, which he's already on the way to. So I like it the position putting him on the small show
yeah,
before he blows up and starts ended up on main events or co-main events.
and kind of working as a face, which is interesting for Team Taz when you have Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Pop. So I'm curious to see if they'll kind of keep pushing that, or what you can do to kind of we really haven't heard much from, or well, we haven't heard anything from him, I believe. So just like Dante Martin, I think we need to hear something from Hook as well eventually, kind of see where he can do with his talking skills. So
Yeah.
I Is there another buy-in match? Because I didn't have one listed, but
I think they may have created one, but I can't think of what it is.
okay. Well,
Um,
if there is, there is.
yep.
I was just going off Bleacher Report, and so whatever matches they had up to date, I went with that.
Yeah, that
Which
Kyle
gives,
O'Reilly match was at it last second, so I
yeah,
was wondering
and
if
I
that
do
would
have
be it.
that listed, and I doubt if that's going to be buy-in, but um, so we'll just kind of say the main card, and if there's a buy-in match, enjoy it. If there's a second one, so how about this one, Greg? The Rampage promo or whatever that was with, or maybe that was a couple days ago, but you know, Frankie Kazarian, Sammy Guevara, Ty Conti going into the um, American Top Team headquarters. I believe somebody said this is exactly what Moose did when American Top Team was kind of part of Impact Wrestling. So rehashing of that. They walked out with some titles. The stipulation is if Scorpio Sky's team wins, Greg, nobody can challenge him, or well, Frankie Kazarian, Sammy Guevara can't challenge him. So my prediction is, of course, Sammy Guevara and Frankie are going to win because I think right now you don't have any other guys out there. I mean, I guess you could throw anybody at Scorpio right now, but I think there's still some legs you got with Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio. So I assume Team Sammy wins. But the woman to watch, of course, is Paige Van Zandt. I don't think she'll eat the pinfall, obviously. So then that way you still keep her and Conti out there if you want to do that. But I'm going team. I'm not going to say team face because I still don't know if Sammy Guevara and Frankie Kazarian and Ty Conti are the faces in this, even though they probably are by default, Greg. Just a weird, I don't know. It just keeps going off, in a weirder direction, I think. With
Yeah,
I guess the breaking in is cool, but is that a face move to do? I guess it worked for Brock back in the day, but Brock is Brock. Brock is a whole other animal.
yeah,
These guys breaking in just feels like, I don't know, it just didn't work for me. And this whole feud hasn't worked for me. So I would love for Scorpio Sky to win, and then you're done with, Frankie and Sammy Guevara chasing him. But at the same time, I feel like they still want to go routes with that. So I'm going Sammy Guevara, Frankie Kazarian, and Conti to win. Rick, how about yourself?
yeah. I have to agree on everything pretty much. This whole rivalry is a bad idea from the moment that they turned Sammy heel. If Sammy had stayed face, this match would be a lot better. But turning Sammy heel and keeping Scorpio and ATT heel, you know, who are you going to root for? You're just going to sit on your hands and watch the match, cheer the high spots, and that's going to be it. it. There's no point to the rivalry because you haven't given us much to go on as far as who to invest in emotionally.
Yeah.
Sammy and Ty have become that annoying high school couple that couldn't keep their tongues out of each other's mouths and doing it in front of everybody. And Scorpio and Dan Lambert, and Ethan Page are just not just as they were from the beginning.
Yeah.
So, it's, which evil do you root for? And the break in, I didn't see the Impact version of the break in to ATT. So it was a little new for me because I hadn't seen the inside of American Top Team for a long time since they did a special for a USC event. But I recognize all the belts. The BMF belt is Jorge Masvidal's belt, the BMF title, and they have a lot of champions. And once in the UFC, when you defend your championship, you just don't wear the same belt the same as they do in wrestling. They give you a whole new belt. So
Oh,
you get to take the old one and put it in the trophy case That's why I have a trophy case loaded with belts because every time you successfully defend it, you get a new one. And so, like I said, they've had tons of champions, and the trophy cases are very extensive. So I like the angle as far as breaking in and taking the belts, and recognizing the BMF belt, um, and the other ones in there. We saw a couple nameplates on them. So cool angle, but you know
Is that a face
that's a
move?
heel. Yeah, that's the thing. It's a heel move to break into a place and steal their stuff. That's the face, or that's the heel move. And now you're doing the heel move to the other heels. So it's kind of like the turf war going on in NXT. Uh, you really don't know who to vote, who to cheer for, and it's just bad storytelling. Um, down the road when the sites are more defined, it would have been a lot better. But you know, we kind of just watch it and on to the next one. But I do think because of the stipulation that Team Sammy's going to win, because this rivalry isn't going to be over. They don't have anywhere else for Ethan and Scorpio to go aside from continue with Sammy. And if Paige is going to get in on an entry level, somebody like Ty and Anna Jay, and that's going to be level she's going to be working with. So you're going to have to keep that moving. And this is the team that's going to be pretty much the head of the table for the while to break Paige in. So yeah, I think Team Sammy wins.
Do you think we see a lot from Paige in this match, or is this kind of to protect her, just give her a few big moves and then, let her tag out and keep, practicing more on her
No,
craft?
I think you're going to let her get in and show off,
Yeah,
because we're going to have to get sold on her because
yeah,
future matches aren't going to make any difference if we don't see her do something and be impressive about it.
that's
So it's better to let her get in and throw Ty around and show that she's a badass so that we want to see this rivalry go further. Um, so, like you said, she won't be the one that gets pinned, but it would be best for them to let her get in there,
highlight.
show that she is good, she can go, and then we can at least invest in Paige or invest in the Paige Ty um, rivalry.
Did you like the new
So
belt that Scorpio Sky was presented with? At first, I didn't notice it was Laker colors until they really showed it. But so
yeah,
that must be a UFC idea that they're taking, because I think everyone's pretty much gotten a new TNT title, I believe, every champion.
that's true. Yeah,
Because like Miro
uh,
had a newer one. I thought Darby had a different looking one. So they must be kind of stealing that. But then again, with Dan Lambert's influence and MMA influence, I'm guessing maybe he brought that up. So, yeah, this is one to watch, but I don't know, just not invested. So
yeah. I thought the belt was kind of weird looking,
yeah,
just because you never see a gold belt.
yeah,
So I get the Laker colors, and if the Lakers won the championship and they had that belt, okay, that makes
yeah.
sense. But it's a little weird. Maybe it'll grow on you, but yeah,
Especially since the Lakers won two two seasons ago. So we're a little bit behind. We're a little bit behind the NBA season. So yeah. This one just randomly got thrown together, I feel like, Greg. But Kyle O'Reilly, Darby Allin, what are we thinking? Who you got in this one?
I like this match. Darby wants payback for O'Reilly pretty much breaking Sting's leg in the chair, and it's going to be an interesting matchup. So I like it. Um, Not much of a story to go off of aside from I want vengeance for my buddy,
Yeah,
and sometimes it's all you need. This could be one of those underrated matches that over delivers.
yeah,
So I'm excited to see it. It wouldn't be right to have a double or nothing without Darby in it. So I get it, and this is just a great excuse to do it. Um, Kyle's been a killer with the submissions, things like that. winning different matches in different ways. That's what they needed to be doing with him, for a long time. So I like it, and I think this one though, mm, now I'm kind of waffling because I'm thinking that it'd be better if Kyle actually wins, and then we can drive this a little bit further forward. Um, yeah, they're going to go opposite and say O'Reilly's going to keep the hot streak going.
I'm going all Darby just because I feel like this is kind of a one-off, which I'm fine with. I think you get the revenge for Sting and move on. I keep saying Darby needs more. I don't know if this is necessarily more for him. I still think Red Dragon should be a thing, or should be challenging more in the tag team title scene. So, yeah, I'm fine with Darby just picking up a good win here, and the fact that it was just thrown together. I guess you could give it some legs, but I personally would just make this a one-off and kind of move on. So, what
Mhm.
I wanted, Greg, all along, this should have been Jeff Hardy, Darby Allin. I don't know why you didn't give that to us at Double or Nothing. I think that would have been really awesome to see, but we got it, already, and they kind of moved on from that. So, I still think you could have done more there. Yeah. So next up, this one I'll let you have all it, Greg. This is all your baby. I know you're all about both these teams. Death Triangle, House of Black. This one I'm interested that we didn't get any stipulation. I'm guessing we'll do lights out probably on a Dynamite because I feel like both these teams need that to kind of really get going with it. So yeah, what are you thinking, Greg?
Yeah, this is definitely going to be one of my favorite matches of the night. Um, I've been looking forward to this one for a long time, especially since House of Black really hasn't had any legitimate competition, and Death Triangle, aside from HOB, is the best three-man squad out there, and I think that Death Triangle has been on the short end of the stick for a long time, just because Ray coming back so late in the game, and House of Black always having the numbers advantage. They've been beaten down pretty bad, but this is going to be a killer match. I have no doubt about it. Um, this is a whole my calls type of match right here, and I think this is seriously show stealing territory. Um, so that being said, as much as I love House of Black and everything about them, I'm sticking on the Death Triangle side and giving them their first win in this rivalry. Um, because we need to see more of it. I think after we see this match, we're going to want to see another one. And the best way to kick that off is to have Death Triangle win.
Yeah, and that's yeah. I kind of go like you said. This feels like either one needs a win, so it's hard to. It's I'm going back and forth, obviously, because I just don't know who needs to win more and where we should go after this. But so I will go House of Black. I think just giving them a big win on a pay per view is important. And then maybe, Dead Triangle wants the lights out match so they can kind of, pick up the win there. So I'll go House of Black, just kind of go opposite Greg. And I just, give Buddy Murphy a big win or something like that. We haven't seen Buddy Murphy kind of do much. So I think he's due to our Buddy Matthews, sorry. I've seen him and Rhea Ripley in a lot of Instagram together, Greg. So I don't know if maybe
Yeah,
that's our latest
they're a couple
uh,
now.
not official, not official, maybe unofficially couple. Always working out together. So, normally I don't just see a guy and girl working out for no reason together. So, yeah, interesting. I guess two Australians kind of get together
Hey,
there.
how about talking about official? That's true.
Charlotte.
But talk about official about Charlotte and Andrade
Yep. That's why we haven't
getting
seen
married
Andrade.
yesterday.
Yep. believe Rey
So,
Mysterio was there.
Mazel tov to them.
People shared
Yep.
the real life face of Rey Mysterio, not the mask. Not even covering it up. So people were kind of giving a little like, okay, we shouldn't do that. So I didn't see. I'm trying to think if we saw any. Apollo Crews was there. Finn Balor. Wasn't sure what women wise were there, Greg, because I don't know how good on terms Charlotte is with some of the women in WWE right now, but I definitely didn't see Becky Lynch there. I kind of think there's some legit, real life beef there, or just not kind of drifted apart, which happens. Yeah, so Andrade should be back on TV soonish. I'm guessing in a couple weeks, and Charlotte. That's why she got the outing she did. So I'm guessing.
Yeah, her arm looked pretty good to me. I mean, no cast or anything.
Yeah. Oh, and Ric Flair was there with his. I believe he was supposed to be separated, but he was there with his, wife. So interesting there as well. So, Charlotte is now what 4 divorces away from him, Greg. Will she tie it? Will she break
Well,
it?
she's tying all his other records, so.
So just sorry. Anyway, so best of luck in their wedding bliss.
Yep, have lots of athletic children.
Yeah.
We need more. The second generation of Charlotte Andrade babies.
Third generation, right?
Third generation. You're right.
Yeah, because it'd be the dad, and because it'd be Rick, and then Charlotte, and then it'd be their kids. That would be. They could go. Maybe Randy Orton could get his kids in. That'd be 4th generation versus 3rd. Be crazy to think about. But speaking of not crazy, Jade will pick up her 30th win, I believe. Is this gonna be 30?
Yep, this should be 30.
I'm all in on Jade picking up that win, Greg. I think it's going to be a good test for Anna Jay to kind of get this type of match. I feel like I haven't seen her wrestle in a while. I don't. Was she in the Owen Hart? I can't remember if she was in the tournament.
No, she wasn't.
Okay. I couldn't remember if she was. So it's all Jade. The baddies will be there. Maybe they'll have a bigger baddie section, Greg, with it being in Vegas. I believe Sunny Kiss is trying to get in the baddie section, so she can be in there. But other than that, this is all Jade. I just don't see probably not even a long match. I just feel like 6-7 minutes. Maybe Anna gets a few shots in, but it's all Jade go to 30-0 and on her way to continuing this undefeated streak. Craig, how about your thoughts?
Yep, I agree. This Jade all the way. Um, I think they're saving that first loss until that first mega challenger, which I think is going to come around number 50. That seems to be the point they're marching towards.
Okay.
If I was to make my guess, that once she gets to 50, that's where you're going to have the big name that she's going to have to beat. And
right now,
she's
there's
going to have
nobody out there though.
Right, and that gives them time to play with that too, because they may be sitting on what's going to happen with Sasha and Naomi.
Yeah.
I mean, you can stretch out 20 more matches for the rest of the year if you wanted to.
That's true. Yeah.
So, Sasha and Naomi become free, no doubt where they're going to turn up. So, but yeah, I think number 50 is going to be safe for Britt Baker. If I had to put money on it right now, I think that's who it is. There's some interesting challenges out there. Sheeta has nowhere to go now that she's done with Serena Deeb. Chris Statlander is going to need another direction to go. So there's some legit, challengers for her, but I think 50 is where we're going to see that first loss.
Well, Chris Statlander does have all the momentum. I mean, people were pretty upset as she did not get the win, even myself. I love Ruby Gray, but That should have been all Statlander's time. And even winning the Owen Hart tournament, I think, would have been where we should have went. So I was very surprised with that, and kind of curious to see, how they play that up. But yeah, if Jade was 50-0, maybe Chris could be the one in 50-1. So
Yeah.
because you feel like she'll get to 50, and then it's like, what happens after that? So because it took what was it? She'd got the 50 wins eventually, I think. But
Yeah. It
I
took
think,
her a couple tries.
I think with Jade, you got to get to 50 straight up, and then after that, you can kind of see who takes it. So, oh, look at that! Speaking of the Owen Hart Women's Tournament, Greg, is that not one of the better segues we've had in Superkickin in history? Britt Baker, Ruby Soho. I love the fact that Ruby just told Britt to shut up, and Britt did not get to respond as we went off the air. So kind of cool for somebody to, I love Britt Baker as well, but nice to have somebody kind of, get over on her on the mic. But
Yeah.
Like I said, this should have all been Statlander's coming out party, but I think I'm going to go Ruby. I think Ruby needs it. We don't, especially if it doesn't mean a title shot per se, Greg. It just means you want it. I mean, I don't think Britt needs that. Britt is fine. So I'd like to see Ruby get the win over Britt Baker, and I'll pull out Ruby Soho, Destination Unknown, Ruby Soho. So there you go. Taz will be singing it just like I did with my lovely voice there, Greg. But who are you going, Britt or Ruby?
No, I have to agree with you on this one. Britt is Teflon, so whatever she does, she's going to have, that notoriety. Everybody's going to be on the edge of their seats waiting to see what she's going to do. Um, Ruby is the underdog in the same way that Owen was the underdog in all his matches. So I think if anybody needs a coming out party, it's her. She's been off the air for a while in a real significant fashion. She's done the little backstage segments when these when the tournament started, but prior to this tournament, she's really been off TV for a bit, and she needs that catapult back into our consciousness again. So having a banger of a match with Britt Baker, can definitely elevate her, not at to Britt's level, but near Britt's level, and get us taking her more seriously. She's gonna have to keep that up by staying on TV and doing some things, showing she's worth it. But winning this tournament and getting that notoriety, people are going to look at her differently and take her more seriously. So I have to agree that it'd be best she wins this match, and that's a star vehicle for her to add another big name to the mix, because they're AEW's top heavy with the women's division, but it's only 4 or 5 people, so you need more names in there to keep it fresh, keep it interesting. So um, I'm Team Britt too, but for this match, I think it's better for Ruby to win.
All right. Next up, we'll do the other side, the men's Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Adam Cole, Samoa Joe. Which way you going, Greg? I went first with my women's picks. I'll let you go first with the men's pick. Which direction are you going?
Another candidate for match of the night, because this is going to be a slugfest with Cole and Joe. Both of them have crazy momentum and had great matches in the tournament. It's almost a coin flip here, a pick 'em, to use Vegas terms. Um, and again, you look at it, it's like, who needs that that rub, that attention. Um, and I was thinking about it. I think Joe is better with it. Adam Cole, no matter what, he's going to have a big story to feed off of with the elite, and I can see this causing friction in the what do you call it, the ultimate elite or the alpha elite, whatever,
The
and
undisputed.
undisputed elite. There you go. Could figure lost the name, but there's plenty of him things for him to do within the elite itself. Uh, Joe needs to stay on his role, and I think he's going to win for sure.
And we still do have the Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and whoever the other guy is. I forget what his name is. So you wonder
Yeah,
if that could play a part. The Indian, right?
right. Satnam Singh, that's it.
See, okay.
Um,
Do you think they play a part somehow, even if they don't necessarily get involved, like they're a distraction?
yeah, I think absolutely they are. Um, but this would be a way for them to get involved, screw it up for Adam Cole,
Yeah,
and Joe comes out on
that
top.
could be good.
So
I like that
um,
aspect of it because they keep getting
that
on
way,
the wrong show.
right, and that way, Adam Cole doesn't lose anything because there was outside forces interfering in his uh, match. So it would all work out for all sides and continue the Joe versus the lethal triumvirate angle also.
And you could, I mean, you could still throw Adam Cole versus Jay Lethal as well if you wanted to go that route. Just and Samoa Joe's like, I'm not even messing with that because I've already won. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna go Joe as well. I just, yes, he has the ROH Pure title, Greg, but until ROH is fully kind of back as a viable, promotion or whatever they're going to do with it, I mean, it doesn't really matter, until you try to throw an ROH pay per view or an event the night before, something like that. So yeah, I say giving him the Owen Hart Foundation win doesn't really hurt Adam Cole if it's by shenanigans. We haven't even scratched the surface of what could happen with the undisputed elite. Really, if when we really think about it, just because all
Yeah,
the pieces aren't there yet. So, whenever Kenny Omega's ready, that's when things really take off there. So, next up, how about this one? AEW World Tag Team Championship. Jurassic Express, Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs, Keith Lee, and Swerve Strickland. Obviously, Greg, those two kind of cancel each other out. I think Jurassic Express retain. I'm hoping for a pretty good, triple threat type tag team championship. I think everybody's going to get involved. Good 10 to 15-minute match. Everybody gets their spots in. And I think Jurassic Express steal the win, or not really steal, kind of grab it real quick. Probably now it's tough because any one of these four guys, Greg, that on the other side probably don't need to eat the L, but maybe a, a quick roll up on Keith Lee or Swerve, then you could either go that route, or if they pin the other one team, then you could go that route. So, but I think it's all Jurassic Express to retain. How about yourself?
yeah, I agree. Team Taz and Swerve and Keith Lee are going to get in each other's way as far as being able to get the win and secure the championships for their team. So, um, yeah, it's going to be Jurassic Express and then the rivalry with Swerve, Swerve Squad and the Team Taz continues on. But I see like a small package after somebody got knocked out by the other, like Keith Lee power slams uh, Starks and gets kicked out of the ring, and they scoop up a roll up or something like that. Some quick little small package and run out the ring before um, the other
Yeah,
four,
uh, yep.
yeah, let them destroy each other. So
then
Yeah,
you
it makes
still,
sense.
like we said, we still kind of save the one-on-one tag matches if we need to, for Dynamite or Rampage.
Yeah.
How about this one? Anarchy in the arena. So I guess it's going to get some sort of stipulation. I'm going to assume anything goes type deal, but they're just calling it that. The Jazz versus BCC. Greg, who do you got in this match? Because either team could use the win.
Yeah, it's gonna be chaos, and yeah, I think that the stipulation is definitely going to be, anything goes, weapons, and no count out, no time limits. Well, maybe there's a time limit, but no count outs, no
Yeah.
disqualifications,
Yeah.
and 15 minutes of carnage, bloody people. Um, but the JAS has been getting the upper hand the whole way, and this is the first time seeing the BCC involved in a pay-per-view. So I think that Team BCC is definitely going to win this one, and definitely probably be one of the most brutal matches of the night, but fun.
And see, I get paused because they name the match, Craig. I feel like usually if you name the match, you don't win it, and that's when I'm like, you know, I go back and forth. I, I'll go opposite because I feel like I said, and I would love to see like Daniel Garcia pick up like a big win.
Yeah,
Get the win for his team. We really haven't seen much of him. Maybe Magic Daddy or whatever they're calling their other names. Maybe one of them just fluky win. But I'm going to say Jericho Appreciation Society. And then maybe, we get the blood and guts all out war where the BCC could just take care of business. So, maybe we'll get some small teases of anarchy in this match. But I still think we need to pull out the blood and guts. Do like they did before. It's the last half hour, Greg, and just let it, go to town. And that's when we see the BCC take care of Jazz. How about this? Does William Regal get involved in this match, Greg?
in a small way, yes.
Like a
But what
quick
I was
punch?
thinking was that at the end of this match, that the first olive branch gets extended to Daniel Garcia,
Okay.
as far as leave these losers behind and come join us,
Okay.
because you're a killer. You should be on our side.
Yeah.
So I think if Reba gets involved, is kind of in that aspect. I don't see him really throwing hands with anybody.
Since you already kind
Um,
of did with Jericho.
yeah, but coming out and recognizing Daniel Garcia and kind of putting the thought in his head, you should play for us.
Yeah. I like that idea. I think we both agree. Garcia just looks totally out of place right now on that side anyway. I get
Right.
it. I think Jericho really fought for it. And so that's why I'm like, okay. But, from what I've been hearing, with Regal and Brian Danielson have been big at, kind of shows and watching from the beginning, at 11 a.m., seeing what guys were working in the ring. So yeah, I think they're on the other side too, fighting for. I think we might need a shark cage match, Greg. Whoever wins gets a little Danny in their team. So, we can always do something like that. But how about this one? Who had on their bingo card, Greg, Gangrel, sorry, Grohl, as an appearance on AEW? Now, if you would have told me WWE, I probably would have said yeah because of the whole Edge was doing. But we
Right.
got Gangrel, and how about Brandon Cutler with the thong as Lita? Because at first I didn't see the thong, and then I saw it, I was like, oh my god, he's really playing up Lita, and I could not believe that they actually pulled that off. So, which makes me think the Hardys get all the win here, Greg. Uh, I think the Young Bucks just have got up over so much. It's probably the Hardys to win here. So, who do you got in this match?
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. Love the cosplay with the Young Bucks on Friday, and they were awesome. It was too funny. Um, the part of Matt Hardy been playing by Matt Jackson, and you know when they're trying to do the double team moves, him creakily trying to make his way to the top rope and changes his mind, goes down to the second rope, and his old knees can't keep up, and he's slow in his moves. It was just hilarious the way he did it. Um, and then you got Nick doing a great Jeff Hardy impression, um, highly entertaining, and just playing off of what the Hardys said about the Bucks being Matt and Jeff cosplayers. Um, and of course, Brandon way over the top and just added to it. I think this is going to be one of those matches where there aren't many matches that we want to see the Hardys in left that have this kind of appeal. Uh, yeah, we'll see him against the Elite. We'll see him against FTR. We'll see him against, the other teams. But this is the match that's going to get the most attention. And, the Hardys, their best days are long behind them. But wasn't it Toby Keith that has that song? I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was.
There you go.
And this could be that match where, we see a return to the old Team Extreme, Attitude Era, high flying Hardy Boys. And we forget that they're as old as they are and then, um, don't look like they have it anymore. And they really show up and show out. And this match is the true show stealer of the night. Um, and that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I want to see. I think that's what they're going to give us. When they sit down and figure this thing out. But I think this kind of be a passing of the torch too. That after the Bucks win, that they're both going to stand in the middle of the ring and acknowledge each other, and the Hardys are almost literally going to pass the torch on to the Young Bucks because that was then and this is now, and this is the two coming together. So,
And they've talked about this as their last run anyway, so that would make a lot of sense.
yeah.
All right. And that won't surprise me at all if that happens. So, it's funny because I never saw the ladder match they did in ROH, but that was probably like a 5-star, 6-star match. So hopefully they can deliver something obviously a little bit different because, they're not putting the stipulation of ladder match or anything like that great. So, unless they throw it at us right at the end, say, oh, we're going to make this blah, 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 by the way. But I think it's going to be a straight-up match. Like you said, the passing of the torch makes a lot of sense. So, I'd be fine
Speaking of which,
Sorry, go ahead.
while I was out shopping the other day, look what I came across.
Oh, look at
I don't think you
that.
see it there. The broken Matt Hardy T-shirt.
There it is.
Was,
you can see in all its glory.
And as soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, I got to do this right
there
here.
We go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
It's got
it.
the delete
Nice.
in the crystal ball. And it's just too awesome. $3. Okay.
Oh,
just,
$3?
I love thrift shops. And it still looks brand new. So somewhere there's a little cluster of wrestling fans in this town somewhere because I found a couple.
Up their wrestling shirts.
Right. Yeah. So as soon as I saw it, like, okay, that has to happen. So got a shout out to Broken Matt.
Yeah. It definitely looks clean. So yeah, it's some Goodwill stuff or whatever you get. You're like, oh, somebody's worn this quite a few times. So, and yeah. So. All right, next up, how about this one? This is the one, Greg. Is this match going to happen? So,
yes, what did you hear?
What a weekend. So, the word is MJF, possibly, not him or somebody, booked a flight out of Vegas Now, nobody was on that flight or whatever, but there was talk of that. As of 7 hours ago, I saw the match is still on, but Dave Meltzer, as of now, this would only be 3 hours ago, said MJF is not in their arena, which I don't know what their call time is, but I would assume it's probably before 8 or 7.
Right.
This is either the greatest work in the history of works, Greg, or there's something more than meets the eye here. And I guess what's crazy is I thought MJF's contract's on up till 2024. So why pull off this type of stuff now, or even 2023? But let's say January 2023. I don't know if still pulling off that stuff now makes a lot of sense, but and it sucks because if it does happen, Wardlow's momentum's all gone. I mean,
Yeah.
getting him a forfeit loss doesn't do anything, I think. So I don't know what the heck is going on, and it sounds like nobody does. But because he no-showed the meet and greet, which in a way I could say it's MJF. We've seen him in meet and greets, Greg. He has never played up like, oh, I'm
Right.
so happy to be. I mean, he legit plays up the character. So at first, no showing it, okay, you're playing up the character. Cool. But then the whole, there's a flight apparently booked for him out of Vegas, now possibly not being in the arena, or else he's hidden somewhere that Dave Meltzer doesn't know where he's at or whatever. But there's a lot of, little things here. And, like we said, if this is all a work and he just shows up, business as usual, well, got you to tune in probably, Greg. So I'm still picking Wardlow. This has to be Wardlow's kind of, coming out party. I think MJF will be fine with the loss. He's got over, as much as he can. So I would really like to see Wardlow pick up the win over MJF, even if Sean Spears interferes, why not? So, this should be all Wardlow's kind of coming out party as a singles competitor, gets free of the contract after that. And then, Greg, I want him to come out to War Pigs like Black Sabbath, because what has he been called this whole time? So why not? And
Right.
you throw it. I mean, I almost would love it to happen tonight, but it makes sense because he's not under or he's lost everything first, Greg. But kind of throwing against MJF, embracing the War Pig nature, and I think that would be really awesome for him to be able to come out to that theme song, just kind of solidifying himself as a singles guy. But I'm just, I kind of keep Twitter opened up, and I haven't seen anything more. So we shall see. Are you picking MJF, Greg, no matter what, if he shows up, or are you going with Wardlow in this match?
Oh, Team Wardlow all the way. It sounds too, I should say it sounds very MJF.
Yeah.
Uh,
We're
with the
working
whole,
ourselves into a shoot.
yeah, the shenanigans backstage. Is he there? Is he running? This is the last place he can go where he can, um, he can't run anymore. So what he's gonna do is he's just gonna skip town. It sounds very MJF, and a way to swerve us that while the reports are out, MJF isn't here, yada yada. Wardlow actually gets in the ring and they're doing the count out, and as the count out's going on, who comes up from behind or out of the crowd or from under the ring, MJF with a chair and waylays him with the back of the head or whatever.
Yeah.
It just seems too convenient that this is happening now. Um, so I definitely think it's a work, and MJF will be there for the reason you said. For one, it's going to kill Wardlow's momentum. Getting a forfeit win does nothing, and does that even count as far as getting him out of his contract?
Yeah.
Number two, it just MJF has been like the evil genius, and this by just ditching the event altogether, it would take the air out of the whole building as far as something we've been waiting and waiting to see and then don't get it. Um, so I don't think it's going to happen for that reason also. It's just some shenanigans going on, backstage to throw us off, and he's going to be there. I have no doubt about it. But
Well, this,
Wardlow's going to finally get his comeuppance and gain his freedom, and the place is going to go nuts for it.
if this is real sports, Greg, would you trade MJF for Sasha and Naomi straight up?
Interesting.
I mean, AEW probably would, right? To give them more star power. I mean,
Right?
I can't imagine them being like, no, But now on WWE's side, I don't know. Granted, they're already kind of pushed off Sasha and Naomi, so if Tony Khan and Vince were like, hey, let's just do this.
Yeah.
Be
If I was AEW, I would not do it for sure.
Okay.
And personally, I don't want to see it because MJF is so awesome on the mic, and I don't think he would get the kind of promos in WWE that he does in AEW. And that's his magic right there. When he's on the stick, there's nobody better. But I'm sure his language would get watered down, the things he can say and can't say would get watered down, and I want pure, unfiltered, raw MJF. And I cringe when I think of him on WWE television, unless he's going to get that creative control that says when I go out to cut a promo, I get to say what I want to say. And we got it with Cody as far as coming back, keeping his whole gimmick, his music, his everything. So is it impossible that MJF could get the same treatment? No. He absolutely could. But I hope when he thinks about jumping ship that he goes the Cody route, make sure that he has that license written into the contract so that when I get involved in the rivalry with somebody, I get to cut him as deep as I want to cut him because it's going to be great TV in the end.
Yeah, you wonder. I mean, I feel like they have to do. I think they want to give him the boundary. Like, I think there'd be some boundaries. Like, I don't know how off kilt, what level of PG would he be able to go to? So,
Yeah.
You got to think like Cody's promos are still pretty PG. They're all about him fighting for his dad and fighting for himself. He hasn't really given us anything to breaking the fourth wall, breaking too many like boundaries, I think. So, yeah, this is the one to watch, though. This is going to be something really to keep our eye on and where it's going to go. So, I believe we're kind of at our championship matches now, Greg. AEW World Championship for the women's side of things, Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb. I think this is going to be an all-out technical match. I don't think there's going to be a lot of, high-flying maneuvers here. But I think it'll be a good win for Thunder Rosa. Her and Hangman, I feel like their title runs are kind of comparable in the way that are they as good as they could be yet? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we were so happy for them to win the titles, Greg, but now it's like, what have they done? Now, granted, Hangman's had a lot more time than Thunder Rosa, but we're still kind of waiting for even joking like Thunder Rosa can't even do a promo in the ring. Like all her promos
Right.
have been on the stage and interrupted or like you had Nyla Rose kind of go at town to her. So I'm still obviously picking Thunder Rosa. It's way too soon to try to pull the rug under for her because I still think you got a lot of legs with her. So, I'm going all Thunder Rosa here, but I think it's going to be a good 15, 20 minute, just straight up technical match. Some strikes, not a lot of high flying, but just a straight up duke them out, move for move match. So, what do you got on this one, Greg?
Yeah, I agree. Good technical match, solid. I think it's going to end up being like 55-45 in Serena's favor as far as who's ahead uh, a greater percentage of the time,
Yeah.
and Thunder Rosa pulling out a another old school finish,
Yeah.
a small package or a bridge cover, something like that for holding her just long enough to get that three. And but if this was figured up in terms of damage, Thunder Rosa is going to be the more damaged person. So that way, Serena still shines, and even in defeat. But I agree with you that it's too soon to take the belt from Thunder Rosa after her just winning it. So
All right, and finally, this one, Greg. Hangman Adam Page, current champion against CM Punk. I am rocking my Hangman Adam Page shirt.
nice.
You think I should just pick him, but I'll let you have it first because I do not know which way to go, Greg, because both guys have given us reason to believe them. Both guys have given us a reason to think they're going to win, which is probably good, but at the same time, a little bit tricky for us predicting it. So we'll wrap it up here, so then that way we can watch the buy-in show, of course, as well. But who do you got? Hangman Adam Page, CM Punk as our final prediction of the evening.
Yeah. So we said last week that this whole rivalry was feeling kind of sluggish, cold, just because there hadn't been really any interaction, and it's come out of nowhere, and there's no definitive side, as far as who to cheer for. Going back to the whole um, the match earlier with Team ATT and Sammy, that which side do you pick when they both seem to be cut from the same cloth. Um, and then we had this promo from Dynamite, and that was awesome. Shout out to Heyman for carrying that whole thing. But after that promo and the way he really laid into Punk verbally, that made me believe he's fighting for something, and he seems to be pissed off for no reason. But that's the whole old school versus the outsider mentality, and they still, or at least Hangman still looks as Punk as the outsider who's getting opportunities he doesn't deserve, and still being a diva backstage, and the things we don't see that he alluded to in the promo. What does that mean? You didn't really get that deep into it, but you knew what he was insinuating. And then that great line, I'm not defending my belt against you, I'm defending AEW from you. I mean, boom, money. So, whatever reason he has to be angry and so defiant, I like it. I'm into it, and that promo pulled me over. So I'm going to be rooting for Heyman to win.
And I kind of feel like Hangman has shown more of a heel side. So you wonder if they're just going to try like a swerve with him, getting him a cheap, not fluky, but maybe like a underhanded tactic to win. Then you can, if you want to pull them out again and give CM Punk the win down the road. I mean, I still think ultimately CM Punk probably needs to win it all out. I just think you can't pass it up. Win the big one in Chicago at All Out. I mean, what better way and that would probably be about a year to the debut. So, I mean, what better timing could you do? So I'm going to say Hangman wins kind of by a cheap tactic, and then you could still kind of save that down the road if you want to revisit it in Chicago and give CM Punk the big old homecoming win, you know. Uh, but yeah, I think it's going to be Hangman. Uh, but so what do we think the crowd is going to be, Greg? Do we think they'll just kind of go back and forth with it?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a 50-50 crowd. I mean, we're not in Chicago yet.
Yeah.
Um, just gonna have a half Hangman, half Punk crowd, but they're gonna be super into it. And whoever's winning, that they're gonna get that
Crowd.
noise. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be great no matter what. It kind of messes with my prediction that by the end of the year, we're gonna have a heel champion, and that heel is gonna be either, an established heel or a heel CM Punk. Um, I'm this close on having that prediction right, but doesn't look like Punk is going to be the guy who is the heel of the piece.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he can't be. We could get the double swerve and maybe Punk does the heel maneuver and gets the win, and then we get heel Punk. But
And that one surprised me. I mean, I'm not going to be surprised either way. I feel
yeah,
not surprised. I can see all avenues. That's what I mean. Not that I won't be surprised, but I can picture any sort of ending to this match, and it would be believable. Because, like you said, I thought Hangman really delivered Wednesday night. Mentioning Vegas, and then CM Punk mentioning Vegas. So yeah, I thought there was a lot of good. That's probably what we need in the first. I wonder if we almost need that in the first place. It's like you waited till the end to do it, but it still kind of gets you bought in on it. So,
yeah.
but speaking of buy-in, Greg, I think we should probably end the show here because I don't know if the Hookhausen has started yet. I don't have my TV on, but I'm guessing it's probably starting now. We can check out that and real quick, Heat Celtics tonight, Greg.
I'm going to go Celtics.
And I've got $10 on Celtics to win the NBA title. So I'm all in on the Celtics.
Okay, got Golden State on that, but I'll put a wager in on a T-shirt of the winner's choice on the NBA Finals.
Okay. If we get the Celtics and Heat, and so Celtics and Warriors,
Right, I'm taking the
oh,
Warriors
and I'll go
for
Celtics.
sure.
Okay, we can do that. I'll find a good thrift shop. No.
Good luck finding another one of these, baby.
Yeah, I say we will shake on it.
There we go.
All
Pro
right.
wrestling tee of the winner's choice.
Yes, that works for me. We can do that. All right. So, I won't mind because I'll have $100 extra to spend on it. So,
Hey,
like I
there
said,
you go.
yeah, I put $10 on the Celtics. I put $10 on the Warriors too, but I already cashed that out because I was like, well, why not? But I'm like, my Celtics won. I mean, who knows? But anyways, jibber jabber. Go watch the All Out. Go watch All Out too, but watch Double or Nothing tonight. And watch All Out too when it comes back around. But go enjoy the buy-in. I think we're in for a long, lengthy night, Greg. So I do not want to be disturbed tomorrow. I think I'm just putting my phone on silent and throwing it into another room, closing the shades, and sleeping till I wake up for Raw. Sounds like a good plan. So,
Yeah.
all right. But anyways, have a good night. Talk to you guys later.
Peace.